All right, guys, how's it going? So we have another Alexander Isak article to take a look at, which has come out from the Northeast, which is Craig Hope, the chief football reporter for the Daily Mail. I'm supposed to be going live on here in less than 10 minutes, so I really need to get through this video as quickly as possible, so I'm sure you'll be delighted to hear me say that. However, there's a lot to go through. Earlier today, I said, it's all quiet on the Western Front. We're not hearing anything from the Northeast. And I think it was Luke Edwards that piped up an hour or two ago. Now we've got Craig Hope as well. So what we're going to do is, I'm not going to read the article to you that is published. I'm going to show you the article and you can look it up for yourself. And I always advise you read it because how I see things may be different to you. I'm going to give you the bullet points from the article though. And then I'm going to get Dave to analyze it. As you know, Dave is my AI assistant. I've been training him for about a year to analyze football reports, the journalists that write them, and the websites and newspapers, etc., that publish them, okay? And he will analyze things and give a breakdown, because sometimes, I don't see everything, but it's been a very useful addition to the channel, and I know you like it when Dave chimes in, because he's pretty brutal. So it's on the Mail website at the moment, and this is the headline. I would suggest you Google that, okay? I want you to Google it maybe to take a look at it. Now, it is behind a paywall. However, I'm led to believe that if you go to a website called archive.ph and paste in the URL for that article, or any article from the Times or the Athletic, I do pay for them myself. And they are worth paying for, the Times and the Athletic, in my opinion, because they, of course, have the two best Liverpool journalists in the world, and the only two you need to listen to, which is David Ornstein and Paul Joyce. Not that you would say Ornstein is exclusively Liverpool, but you know what I mean. So, if you get the URL and go to archive.ph, second box down, paste it in, maybe you can view it, all right? So, let's take a look at what he's basically saying in this article, and also, if there's been any shift in the vibe that's coming out of Newcastle, right? In the other article earlier by Edwards, that there was a shift there, wasn't there? It's now the agent's fault, So it'll be interesting to see if anything comes up along that. I think there is reference to the agent in this, but I'm not sure. Let's get on with it because I ain't got much time. 4 minutes remaining. Okay, I can do a lot in 4 minutes, girls, to be honest with you. Right, as long as I got my aspirin. Right, here's the article, bullet summary. Dave's done this for me. He says, all right, let's get into this Craig Hope article. The latest chapter in there, we're not selling him unless we can, Newcastle PR campaign. Isak is officially on strike. He won't train or play while the transfer window is open. The order to strike comes from his agent Vlado Lermic, who doesn't want to give Newcastle any encouragement that a truce is possible. Isak will be fined if he misses Saturday's competitive match versus Villa, his first disciplinary action. His stance is to keep pressure on the club to sign replacements, enabling his move to Liverpool. Newcastle are disappointed, not angry, claiming they sympathise and even understand his ambitions. Hope confirms Isak wanted to leave as early as last summer after being denied a promised new contract. Newcastle accept he wants Liverpool, and insiders admit selling him may be best for all parties. 4 scenarios are on the table. A. Isak changes his mind, signs new deal, possibly with a release clause, stays. I don't see that. B. Newcastle land replacements, then sell Isak for maximum value. Yeah, I see that. C. Isak stays unwillingly but is rehabilitated post-September the 1st. I don't see that. D. Newcastle sell him anyway, even if only one striker signs. Wissa is expected next week. I see that. Similar to B, really. What do you think, guys? A, B, C, D? Let me know in the comments. The only certainty, Liverpool will return with another bid. They were always going to. Had Newcastle signed Shesko last week, Isak would already be a Liverpool player, says Hope. Negotiations between the clubs are not the problem. Newcastle are simply not ready to say yes. Isak hasn't been seen by some teammates since the Far East tour. He's training alone, exiled, and his house is up for rent. Newcastle sources are now emotionally playing the "we cared for him and he doesn't care back" card. A key point that I'm going to flag up here is, had Newcastle signed Šeško last week, Isak would already be a Liverpool player. Don't forget, this is a player that was not for sale, right? No, not for sale, no matter what. Guys, I remember reviewing these articles a couple of months ago. Do you remember? Isak isn't for sale, but he is. Do you remember the conclusions that we came to? So let's look at the analysis, the holes, PR spin, and Liverpool positives. Clear positives for Liverpool fans. Liverpool are 100% coming back. Hope says so himself. No speculation. He states it as a fact. The blocker is Newcastle's unpreparedness. Not Price, not the player, not Liverpool. Craig says if they'd landed Šeško, Isak would already be on his way to Liverpool. The phrase "best for all parties" from insiders is a subtle way of saying we're going to sell him, just let us save face. Craig has moved from forthright how and Isak has responsibilities, remember in previous things he said, to we understand him, we feel sorry for him, he deserves more. That's a huge tonal shift and Liverpool benefit from it. Propaganda and NUFC PR watch. This whole piece is soaked in emotional blackmail dressed up as journalism. We cared for him. He could have handled it better. We gave him everything. His agents manipulating him. This is textbook damage control to get ahead of fan backlash. They're now villainising the agent, which is classic club deflection. It's not us, it's the people whispering in his ear. Howe is again painted as a decent man caught in the middle. Pure sympathy tactic. The phrase, the longer he stays in the cold, the more the warmth of affection evaporates. That's PR poetry, pretending to be journalism. It's not reporting, it's emotional manipulation. Contradictions and holes in the article. He's not for sale versus let's see if he'll be sold. That's a contradiction in the same breath. They're on scenario F now. Translation, everything else failed, but they still want fans to believe they're in control. Hope now admits Isak wanted out last year, but only now chooses to report it. Why wasn't this shared months ago? No mention of how the club handled the broken contract promise. If they wrong the player, why no accountability? So Dave says what you should tell your viewers. This article confirms what we've been saying for weeks. Isak wants Liverpool and Liverpool are waiting. Newcastle aren't in control. They're reacting to failure after failure in the market. Craig Hope has now pivoted from club mouthpiece to damage control narrator, setting the stage for Isak's exit. The not for sale line is theatre. They're just trying to delay until Wissa or someone signs. It's clear now. If Newcastle land even one replacement, Isak will be sold. And my opinion, as I've been saying, guys, is that I think there's a lot more happening between Liverpool and Newcastle behind the scenes, and a lot of this is theatre that's being played out for the benefit of Newcastle fans. I do honestly. I haven't got a problem with Newcastle fans, even though I get some right toilet heads on the comments on here. The majority of them good people. I understand. I feel sorry for them. You know what I mean? We've been there. Liverpool been there. We're no different. You lose your players at some clubs and all that. And it's pretty shitty if a player downs tools, right? We've had it before. And what do we say? Fuck you. You can go. Fuck it. Right? I don't know if you can defend Isak here if he was made promises and it wasn't the work kept. Fernando Torres, he had the same shit at Liverpool. I was raging when Torres was misbehaving, if you remember all that. People often talk about my Fernando Torres is another turncoat twat video or whatever it's called on here. I dare look at it now, to be honest. But I was raging with him. But then it came out later that he'd been lied to. So should Newcastle fans be angry with Isak, or should they be angry with the people that are apparently running the club? Do you know what I mean? And like I say, I have a great amount of respect for. I like Newcastle. Well, I've been a bit disappointed with some Newcastle fans really this season. You know what I mean? But this summer, I know they've got every right to be pissed off and that. But I don't know. I've always liked Newcastle. To be honest with you, the city, the club, the fans. If they were in a final and it worked Liverpool, I'd want them to win. And I think I'd probably still feel the same way. To be honest with you, but you know what? We've got our fair share of fucking divs too. So. I'm sure they're being subjected to some of our numpties as well. But my opinion stands. Alexander Isak will be a Liverpool player, right? I don't know that. like, you know, because someone's told me that, or I'm a Twitter twat, or a content instigator or aggregator. It's common sense. He will be a Liverpool player. It's just a matter of when. It's that simple. If the transfer window closed, I would still stand by that opinion. I honestly would, but I think we'll get him before then. All right? I'm going to leave it with you. I've got to be live. I'm 3 minutes late. Yeah, that's it. You know, one of the Newcastle fans was, you know, whittering on earlier about the amount of videos you make. We're making videos about what your fucking journalists are saying. All right? It's topical. It's in the news. We don't set the news. This is the news. It's that simple, really. And I'm interested to see what your journals are saying, you know? All right, guys, I'll leave it with you. What do you think? Where do you see this one going? If you enjoyed the video, please thumbs up the video. Please drop me a comment. And if you want to support my channel, there's a love heart under the video. It's called a super thanks. It's the equivalent of buying me a beer or a coffee. It's that simple. And I always give a shout out to everyone in my morning briefings. I've just done my morning briefing late in the day, actually, for my other YouTube channel, Duncan Oldham, the link of which is in the video description below. All right? And it'll be on the screen as well. Got to go. I'm going live. All right, guys, take it easy. I'm sure we'll be talking about this tomorrow again, if not before.